Mr. Nichols. All right, we will begin. So we've done the Pledge of Allegiance. We just need to do the roll call, and I did get notification from Councilor Jones Ward that she's running with.
Okay. Mayor Hampkins,
He's
President Trueheart,
present.
Vice President Rollcloud,
Here.
Councilor Beat,
Present.
Councilor Francis,
Present.
Councilor Monroe, Councilor Pete,
Present.
Councilor Jones Ward, Roll Wild Team, Kenny Law,
Present.
Finance Director is present, Tax Collector, Benoni Engineering is present. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we will open up our citizens forum. So I will ask if Ms. Clara Johnson would please come forward.
Good evening, councilors. Mayor is not here. Good evening, the residents. The first thing I would like to know, will there be engagement? Will that start tonight when the directors are giving their reports? Can I raise my hand? And if they're saying something, can I raise my hand and ask a question? Will it be, does that start tonight?
So, no, I can't say that it's going to start this evening because when we had the discussions, we needed to continue it because all of the counselors were not present at that meeting. So we're continuing to have that discussion so that we know when we can begin doing it that way. And so, but now if there is a question that you have, I would invite that you would be able to speak directly to the directors, at the end of the meeting, and if you have any additional questions.
Director is not with the community, just me and the directors. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I want to be clear.
So what I'm saying is, if you have additional questions for the director, you can certainly, speak to them at the end of the meeting just to get your questions answered. There's no problem with that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So my first question will probably go to Public Works. I don't know if Public Works can answer this question now, or you guys are going to answer this question, or do I have to wait?
Okay. I'm sorry. So go ahead and you can ask your question.
At Tuesday's meeting, a question by me was asked of the Director of Public Works about the old swim club.
Mhm.
My question tonight is just a follow-up from there. My question is, how much has been completed to date there in that area? That's question number one. I promise you, I won't do like I did. I don't think how many has been completed to date? What has to be done to complete the project, and how long will that take? The second question is, at the last meeting, a community member stood here and said that there was an electric gas meter that adjacent his street corner at Whitby and Cypress.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if the director can give clarity on that as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And now Miss Anna Alessandra Antonio, excuse me.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
A couple of questions. I'm not sure when they'll be able to be answered, but I'm always paying attention with regards to the finances. So one of the areas of topics of interest to me is audit timing. I know that we had supposedly engaged auditors for 2023-24. Was wondering, have we done that yet for 2025? And when do we expect the work with regards to those years to be completed? I don't know if you'd be able to answer that now or if I should continue with my other comments.
So please go ahead.
Okay. The other is, I know it's early in the year, but want to make sure that everybody is cognizant with regards to our expenses and that we try and stay on target with regards to the budget for this year. We know that there's been a lot of tax increases. We had several years where we had that. A lot of people are looking at their taxes right now because if you're getting a discount, people want to pay with regards to that. So they're looking at it. You're hearing a lot of people saying there was a minimum of an increase of at least 10% for Yeadon Borough taxes. So it is very important with regards to our residents that we try and stay on budget so that at the end of this year, when we're looking at next, we don't have to have another year where we increase taxes. And if there's anything else that we can do with regards to the infrastructure and looking with regards to how we can finance that rather than putting it on the residents with regards to taxes, that would be great. Another question that I have is I know that we're looking at, and this is more for the engineer, we're looking with regards to doing something at the intersection here at Church Lane and Bailey. I believe it's supposed to be starting this year, but if we could just get further clarification.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. In that one.
He said it's the cell phone signals that are interrupted with the frequency.
So, okay. And then I had one last question. The former council president, we know that she hasn't been attending since she walked out in September. At one point in time, the solicitor had said that we were going to possibly do something with the DA because she has not been in attendance in about 5 or 6 months. And then there was also the possibility with regards to her not actually being even eligible to be a counselor here because there was question with regards to the residency. So if we had actually started doing that, I know that when she was previously counselor or president and other counselors were not attending, she had tried to start that process or had actually started it with some of the other counselors. So just trying to find out what we're thinking of doing that there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
And now Miss Leslie Dix.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone. So my concern this evening, I'm back on the ordinance, the 22016-0, that is up to be changed from 24 hours to be decreased, the clearing of the sidewalks with the snow. So I did a little research of my own, and I know that Delaware County has implemented the Delco alerts. And in implementing the Delco alerts, you receive them, of course, if you sign up and register to receive them, right? That's on residents in Delaware County, regardless of what township or borough you live in. So I took the liberty to look after the last meeting that we had, the last 2 meetings we had in February, discussing the decreasing of timing for residents to clear their sidewalks. And the first comment I have is the storm on January, I believe it was 23rd, 2026. No one really prepared for the impact of that storm across the state of Pennsylvania. So when we had the storm in February 21st, we had a chance to review what we did or did not do for the first storm in January to see what worked, what did not work, and how we can improve how we move forward for the safety of the residents for better quality of life, which is what we say. What I looked at was other areas, in particular Haverford Township. And I looked at their Delco alert, which was very thorough and precise to the residents in Haverford. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is a learning moment, if you will, a teachable moment where we can all learn from them. They didn't get it right the first time, but the second time in February, when they implemented and reported their Delco alert, they were specific, they were detailed, they named the streets, the snow routes, it was very lengthy, the details they gave. When I looked at Yeadon and what we put out for the Delco alerts, it was direct and to the point. The mayor issued a snow emergency, be safe, trash won't be collected, it'll be pushed back a day. And when I looked at that, I said, okay, I'm bringing this to you all because I think this is a moment where we can say, okay, yes, the mayor issued a state of emergency due to the inclement weather that we were expecting. However, for the residents outside of parking in those parking lots that were available for areas that the residents couldn't park, it was more detailed. Not everybody knows which route is the snow route, what street it is. It's a lot of missing information that we could have received. And I know everyone is not signed up to get Delco alerts. And I know on the website it says, please sign up for Delco alerts. But in addition to that, to say we had 5 residents that didn't clear their snow for 72 hours, as opposed to the 200 that did clear their snow within the 24 hours. I think all of that needs to be taken into consideration. In addition to, if we know we walk by or walk down the street and we see that someone didn't clear their snow, did anyone do a wellness check? Did anyone knock on the door to say, hey, are you all right? Do you need help? So this is something that I thought I'd bring to council so that you all can reconsider instead of just going in and changing the ordinance from 24 hours to 8 hours. In addition to that, please forgive me because I have so much paperwork and I can send this to you tomorrow at a later date. I was trying to put it all together. So in addition to that, I looked on the website, forgive me, and I looked at what does it take to change an ordinance? And what stood out to me is that implementation, once approved, the ordinance becomes put into part of the local code and must be enforced. So in my mind, did we enforce the current code before we opt to change it from what it currently is? And then the second part of that, it says specific requirements may vary depending on the jurisdiction. And it also says it is advisable to consult with other local government officials or legal experts, pretty much, or guardians, before going in and changing the ordinance. So that's what I have to say. And also, in a closing note, at the last meeting, I think we spent a considerable amount of time talking about the equipment that is to be issued to council. And this is my personal opinion, to not be biased towards anyone, because we have people in those roles that need that equipment to do their job. Then we give them the equipment, whomever it is. And if they misuse that, then you deal with that when it happens. But for right now, we have council that need to do their job and they need the equipment. So one of the things I'm going to say is that a lot of buzz was on Nextdoor about the tire cleanup on Whitby Avenue coming into Yeadon. And yes, I commend whomever is responsible for getting that cleaned up. A win for one is a win for all. So with that being said, thank you, counselors, for getting that done.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, so I was just consulting with the solicitor on whether we could do that now or doing his report. So in reference to the ordinance, let me just say everything that you just shared. We met extensively, reviewed all of the comments that came from residents that even last week and that continue to come. We also spent time consulting with other municipalities, taking a look at things, and spent time with the solicitor. So at this time, we are tabling making changes, any amendments to that ordinance, because we do want to consider everything and make sure that we're taking everything into consideration. So I can make that clear to everybody that the amending that ordinance of snow removal has been tabled at this time. Thank you. And then if I could also just add, one of the things that you mentioned about the Delco alert, and I can say that when the mayor issued the state of emergency, he sent the letter out to us, and he did outline all of the specific snow routes now. Naming the streets, all of that was outlined in that when he sent that notice out. So if that didn't get translated properly into Delco Alert, that's something that we have to go back, because I saw it and it was very detailed and specific, mentioning a lot of the things that you had mentioned that they've done in Haverford Township. And because that's where I grew up, that was the first place I checked to see, okay, what are they doing over there, as well as I looked at other municipalities. But, we also need to, backtrack, because I can say with that instance, he was detailed, and if that didn't get translated completely, then that's something we have to check into. But yeah, I want to make that clear. We have tabled that, amending that ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay, and then lastly, we have Mr. Jeffrey Harmon.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I was here last year, and I've been here before in 2010, and I'm here again today. The purpose of being here is to follow up on our proposal, because we have these 2 tennis courts on Chester Avenue, and we really need it for quick start program for the kids, youth, adults as well, so that something can happen within the borough. At the time we had this program, we had the USTA trying to bring in more money, more funding for them to build up facility for the borough. Also, the kids were very, instrumental, the families. We all used to go to the US Open. So I just want to know the status of our application. We're sending the grant proposal, and just want to know where are we with it, because summertime will soon be here and we want to start something with the kids. So I just want to know what is the status of our proposal.
Well, if I could just, I'm responding for council. So one of the things that we are looking at is we've been getting proposals from quite a few folks for that old Yeadon Swim Club site. But I'm thinking right now, because we just had a conversation, and I was going to share that during my time on the president's report, to invite them to come back and do that full proposal for all of council next week at an executive session. But I'm thinking it might be 2 things as far as what you're looking to do, is connecting you with that company, because what they're talking about, I could see a partnership there could possibly be, or is there something that we can do to work with you to start working with the young people, whether it's there or whether it's at Meeting Park, to get it done, because we do need to have more of those kind of activities. And then I would also invite, I see his hat back there looking at Mr. Hunter, with a lot of the work that he does with various athletic programs, that we need to set that meeting. So before we leave tonight, sir, I'm going to ask if we could set a time that we can sit down and meet, and then I'll find out if Mr. Hunter is available too, and that we can figure out how we can make this work, and then we can do the full presentation to all of the council, because it is about our children, our young people, and making sure we have the proper activities, and how can we as the borough support that and promote that. So.
Okay, wait, can I?
So, yes.
So the proposal was sent to me and I forwarded the proposal several months ago. So my question is really for the finance team, why hasn't there been any feedback, response, or because in essence, these people submitted a proposal and then there was nothing. So there should have been something like we've received it and we're reviewing it, and like, what's the timeline to give a person a response to the proposal? Because now I have other organizations contacting me and asking me about, I haven't gotten a response. So it seems like there needs to be something put in place where there should be a timeline of when people should expect to get some type of response. I don't understand why things just like,
Well, I can
maybe I'm
speak,
just not understanding it, so if Mr.
Well, I'll
Higgins
say
can-
this about the Yeadon Swim Club. There was an email response back because my question was, it seems like you expected the borough to go, we're using it now as a dump site. So we will have to clean it. That costs money. Public Works has been working to address some of the issues down there. And weekly, I believe, at some point they were going to take things to the dump yard. Who was resurfacing it? That's not budgeted. You know, so it was a lot of questions that I posed back that no one responded back to me.
But who was the question? It wasn't, those questions didn't come to me, because I wouldn't know, so who were those
I'm
questions?
assuming someone sent me an email and I just responded back with that stuff. And I
Did you
know,
get a
Mary,
response back?
okay.
yeah, I did respond back to an email.
So at this point, rather than, we don't want to sit here and go back, who did what? Let me apologize to you if you did not receive the response. We'll make sure that the questions that Mr. Nichols has gets to you. But as I was saying earlier, before we leave here tonight, I would like to meet with you and hopefully Mr. Hundred, so we can set a date that we could sit down and meet and talk about.
Okay,
it.
I just want to make a point here. First, for 10 years, the project was down, and we came in 2010, and we did all what we could do, because all we need, just give us the permission, and we're going to raise the funding, clean up the court, and do the things for the kids.
Okay.
And I can assure you, within the next 2 months, things will be all right.
Excuse me, so you're not talking about the old swim club, you're talking about the tennis court?
The tennis court right here on Chester Avenue.
Counselor Francis, that raised his hand.
Madam President, I remember Jeffrey because in 2010, we all worked outside. It was outside the Yeadon Swim Club. So he used to outside on Saturdays. So he's a very good instructor.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. But again, we will definitely set that time to sit down and meet and move forward. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Mayor's report.
My report stands as submitted.
Okay. All right. That was easy. All right. President's report. A few things that I would like to share with it. One of the things is I mentioned before that we wanted to really create a collaboration with ourselves and our surrounding municipalities. And I want to tell you that that has begun. We've begun to meet with the other municipalities. Meetings have been put in place that we come together. We will be coming together monthly and sooner, more often if we need to. But the idea is to take a look at what all of our needs are and to create those relationships. So if we can work together, particularly when it talks about those areas where our communities are abutting, those areas where we could both do things together and both benefit from that. So I can assure you that has begun. In reference to the entrance coming off of Whitby and that eyesore with those tires, that was because we reached out to Councilwoman Gautier's office in Philadelphia. And even though I know our public works director and others had been calling to try to get them to come, we said, okay, we're going to go to the council person because that her district abuts right up to Yeadon there. And Vice President Roadcloud spoke to one of her office staff. And then in addition to this is the issue, we need to have it cleaned up. And then so not only did they get on that, but then we also set the meeting that we'll be meeting with her and then having those ongoing meetings. And those are going to start next week. So that gives us that relationship with Philadelphia. And then we are also having those meetings with, all of our Lansdowne, Alden, Clifton Heights, all the way out to Media, Sharon Hill, Darby, where we came together and said, look, we can't do this as an island. We have to figure out how we can work together and be effective and share resources, share services if we need to. So that has begun. In reference to what we were just discussing, the old Yeadon Swim Club, we've been getting some folks coming in asking, can they propose to us what they can do with it? And what we're very serious about, whatever goes on there, it needs to be of benefit to the entire community. And we have actually turned some people down because the type of businesses that they were interested in doing was not going to benefit us. So there is a company that was here. They asked if they could speak to us to develop that whole site. And what we have agreed to, we listened to their pitch, and I said, okay, sounds good, but we're going to ask that they come back next week at 6 o'clock and then do the presentation to the full council, as well as I'm asking some members of the planning commission to be there as well. And then we will also, as a part of code, we'll have Director Collins there. And also, we may need someone from Public Works as well to be present at 6 o'clock so they can do the full presentation, and then we will take it from there. So those are the things to let you know that we have been actively working on to make sure that we're doing things that are going to benefit this community, as well as I was going to report on the issue about the ordinance, is we took you seriously. And when we said that it was being advertised so we could hear comments, we took those comments seriously. And then we began to do our due diligence to see, does this make sense or not? So that's why we came to the decision that the amendment has been tabled. The other thing that was brought to my attention, and I'm going to take the hit for that, is when I mentioned back last month about reactivating the Public Relations Committee. And I'm going to be honest with you to say I was not aware that that committee had been established by an ordinance. And the ordinance was sent to me. I took the time to read through it and get an understanding. And that ordinance was established in 1995, 30 years ago. So I began to take a look at it and also consult, our solicitor to make sure that, does this make sense? What do we need to do? So we are going to be taking a look at that to make some amendments to bring it up to what we need today, because that was enacted 30 years ago. And that's rightfully so that we should take a look at that. I also want to say to you, and I made sure that this was appropriate legally, is when I sat with Councilwoman Jones Waters and asked would she, take that on, and I'll be sitting as ex officio on every committee. We sat down and we met, and excellent ideas, and I wanted to make sure, even though we need to make these amendments to that ordinance, can we move forward with having a meeting so that all of the community that can come. And he said, absolutely. So I want to tell you that first meeting, and we also discussed the name being not community relations, but community affairs, and which is perfectly fine. And again, I consulted our solicitor to make sure we're not doing anything untoward. So that first meeting is going to be next Wednesday here at Borough Hall, and then they will be the third Wednesdays of the month.
Right.
And that will be posted on the Borough website as well. So we invite you all to come out and hear the great ideas that are there, just the same way as Recreation has their regular meeting dates, and then we have our Code and Public Works has their regular meeting dates. And it's, and to make it clear, there is no one person that has autonomy over any of these committees. It is about inviting the community to participate and be a part of it, because the whole purpose of it is to make sure that the community benefits. So thus end my report. All right, so at this time, our manager's report.
Thank you, Madam President. One thing for council that will be for your consideration next week, we received an updated agreement about the ballot drop box that's outside of the library. They wanted us to enter into a new 10-year agreement. The solicitor had reviewed it. It doesn't have any issues. The county actually did send us an updated agreement based off of feedback from solicitors around the county. So that will be for your consideration next week. Also wanted to let the community and council know that we're moving in the right direction as it relates to the proposed ordinances. So as ordinances are advertised in the Delco Times, the full body of the ordinance is on the website. So 3 ordinances are for council's consideration. Next week, they are already on the website for you to review. You have the opportunity to ask any questions, at any point in time. They also are readily accessible here with Ms. Redding at the front desk if anyone wants to come in to look at those ordinances that are proposed and are advertised in the Delco Times. Also some information about the utility relief funds available through the United Way. That's also on our website. We're trying to put more community resources for community members. I know President Trueheart had asked that we create a community resource page, which is now up and active on the website. So we will periodically put information there. We just ask that you visit and see it. As it relates to Delco Alerts, we are also pushing for people to sign up because you're right. We only have, the last that I checked, 114 people in the entire borough that signed up for Delco Alerts. So the more the merrier that we can get that information out. Mayor did, when he declared the full declaration, it was posted to the website with all of the detailed information. We did send that to Delco Alerts, but clearly they only put in what people put in. But we encourage residents to go and sign up for Delco Alerts so that we can get more information out. And we are using our website more. And I know we kind of go through Mike and the chief to go on next door to put information as well. So we're looking at other avenues. My Civic app has not been working. We get probably, I'm looking at Mike, because you and I think the most 2 complaints a week or 2 concerns a week, maybe on a good week. So again, we're trying to figure out ways that we can reach residents and residents should reach us so that we can be more effective and efficient. And we are open to your recommendations and we'll consider them. That ends the manager's report and I will be back under finance.
Okay. But do you want to just?
I can. So in the finance, again, consideration for an AP list, a cash balance report. I do have some updates. There are 3 audits currently underway. A workers' compensation audit that is currently happening, and that is for the year 2025. Our liquid fuels audit, the pre-audit work was done and sent over to the Auditor General's office. They will be on site next Wednesday and Thursday to conduct those audits. The borough's audits, as I explained last week, we were notified by the old auditing firm about a rogue employee who did some things not only to Yeadon Borough, but I believe it was for other clients. So they did send us a quote. We don't have an engagement letter, but it will not exceed the number that they put in to the email for 2023, and they mentioned 2024. They can't send us an engagement letter for 2025 until those 2 are complete. So once those 2 are complete, and they anticipate that they both will be done by June 30, which is a long time in my opinion, they just gave us that date. I think we're moving pretty quickly because Mr. Forbay, I know, has uploaded a lot of the information into their system. I received an email maybe on Tuesday with things that they rejected or that they want to test for 2023 and 2024. So we're gathering that now because it's a lot of information. The deadline for that to be submitted back to them is next Friday. So we're working on that. And again, I hope that we can expedite it from that point on. Budget versus actual, I would like to mention, Ms. Anna, to answer your question, I'm trying to go back to your questions. The managers and I do meet periodically, and I do scream and shout and tell them, we're to slow down because we need to be on budget and do some things. I know Chief called me today about something, and it's situational. We had some snowstorms this year, so our overtime, for example, when you see our budget versus actual for February, not picking on public works, but their overtime, they're already at 72% of the overtime for the year, but it was because of the snowstorms. We had past snowstorms in the past, so of course we didn't budget as much in overtime, but they are down in other areas. So what we will be doing, and Mr. Solicitor will correct me, I know if I'm wrong, but the 2025 amendments to the Borough Code now allows us to do a mid-year budget modification and review, which we're going to be doing and make adjustments based off of, where we aren't at certain levels and where we're over certain levels, just so that we can balance and kind of keep things, level. We're also trying our hardest we've been inundated, as I've stated before, with a lot of real estate tax appeals, which in turn we've had to issue in 2025 several refunds for those tax appeals once a judge orders that the new assessed value is lower than what we previously taxed the taxpayer at. So now what we're doing as a borough is going after properties that we think are underassessed so that we can, get what's due to the borough. So that's happening, and we're hoping that this year that can offset some of what happened last year. That is my report.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Madam President. As Mr. Nichols indicated, those 3 ordinances are available for public review and will be on the websites. And I truly want to thank Council, Chief Summers, Chief Jamarco for your thoughtful and productive input on these things. It makes my job so much easier when I really have a great discourse with folks, and it's never ceases to amaze me when you guys really give us. Sure. The 3 ordinances, the first is the commercial use and occupancy ordinance, which is not in existence, but fairly common in the neighboring municipalities. The second is a key lock box systems ordinance, which essentially provides for a universal key for emergency responders, police department, fire department to have access to the keys that unlock apartment buildings, commercial buildings, things of that nature. And the third is an amendment to the existing rental registration ordinance, not a whole lot of changes, but just tightening it up and making it a bit more concise and understandable. But again, thank you for your input, and it really, I think we wind up with a really polished, finished product when everybody contributes. So for next week's meeting, it sounds like we will be putting together a resolution to implement some traffic calming measures, and as well as updating the fee schedule resolution to incorporate fees for Act 22 requests for police worn body camera footage and or any other camera footage that's fed into and accessible by the police department. So something that's become much more prevalent in today's society. So we want to make sure that we have all of those costs accounted for, and that folks aren't spending their whole day putting these videos and files together without some form of charge, which is certainly authorized by the Borough Code and the state constitution. Regarding the repeated absenteeism of an elected council member, unfortunately, in Pennsylvania is probably the most difficult state in the country in which to remove an elected official. My assumption is that the legislative intent makes it very difficult to do so, so it can't be weaponized against someone who's less favorable within an elected body. But the long and short of it requires filing what they call quo warranto, which needs to be taken up by the district attorney, which then both legally and politically is challenging. And I think the last one that was successfully granted in Delaware County was maybe 2014, after which if an order is issued, it then needs to go up to the state legislature. It's a very complicated and arduous process, typically requires a crime of moral turpitude or embezzlement of funds or some sort of mistrust of the public and misuse of funds. So it truly baffles common sense and reasonability that there's no other options. But as the law stands in Pennsylvania, that is the option provided. We are still looking into some other creative solutions to potentially either entice participation or entice a move towards a resignation or something along those lines. But at this time, unfortunately, that's all that is available to council. Additionally, we still have a few properties that we're working on, doing some investigations, getting to the bottom of some of these insurance payouts for some fire escrows. It's a very tricky situation, and there's a lot of moving pieces. So we're doing our best to make sure we're documenting everything to put the borough's best foot forward to make sure that any expenses that might be incurred in securing these properties and removing the blight and eyesore would be compensated and or protected for the borough. And then finally, as always, continuing to monitor active and pending litigation and communicating with counsel independently on those and trying to make sure, again, that the borough's best foot is forward. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, sure.
So in regard to what you just said about the difficulty removing an elected official, so it sounds like, well, I'm a little baffled because as the resident mentioned, we were trying to do this before and we were willing to do it before previous terms. So now it's like, what's the difference? I mean, we were trying to pursue this 2 years ago with other
Sure, no,
officials.
we can pursue it all we want.
But you're saying it's going to
We
be a
can't,
colossal waste of money?
we can't file the complaint. It's required to come from the district attorney's office.
Okay.
So if the borough could be the plaintiff per se, it would have been done a long time ago. Unfortunately, we can only submit a request for a quo warranto proceeding to the district attorney, who 99 times out of 100 throws it in the trash can.
Okay. So this is not a question, this is a comment.
Sure.
It is my opinion that there needs to be another attempt to do some outreach regarding Mrs. Monroe's intention, whether she responds or not. I think we should do, and we owe it to our community to hold everyone accountable to be present or to step down. And I think that needs to be communicated, that she needs to make some type of decision. Either way, either you can be present and do your job as a council person, or you need to step down and let someone else who wants to do the job be appointed to that seat. Because keeping this seat hostage like this is just not fair to us that show up every month, and it's not fair to our community. So I think there needs to be another response other than just kind of waiting her out. We don't need to keep doing that, in my opinion. So we can't force her to do anything, but we need to strongly keep working on
Certainly.
making her give us some type of response.
I agree, and if council wishes to point me in that direction, I'm certainly willing to take up that initiative and continue those recommendations.
Either way, I'm fine either way. The decision needs to just be made because the community deserves to have representation.
And you're correct. If I could just also add to that, this would be the second time that the solicitor would be doing this. So, if we need to do it again, I certainly say, if all councils are in agreement that they would do it again, but we've done it. We've also individually, some of us have attempted to and have gotten the response. But at this point, I would say it's, let's have the solicitor do it again.
Madam
Chair. And then Madam Vice
Yeah,
Chair.
that was my question, that does it have to be the solicitor, or could someone from council make an overture or an outreach attempt, or has that been done? Or is that- It has been done? Okay. All right, thank you.
And Madam Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, if the solicitor has already created 2 letters and sent out 2 letters, I don't see the point of sending a third. At this point, why wouldn't we just ask the solicitor to send a request to the DA office and put it in his hands and let him make a decision?
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
I have a question.
Sure.
So from my, what I remember, when I mentioned this before, I think the solicitor mentioned that something was sent from your office. The solicitor from your office, she said something was sent.
Right.
So
It's not a formal process. There's not a specific application form or anything like that. It's just an informal, here's the facts of the case. Here are the players and participants. And then the ball's in their court to take that. It's unfortunately, there's no mechanism to compel them to take it or to even reply to those requests. But you are correct. And I'm not sure that I was here when it was authorized the first time around, but it's probably, it might have been sent twice as well. So I need to
So if
confirm that.
if we're going to spend money, right, you might as well send it the letter to the party that does have the authority to make a decision.
Right, yeah, I agree with that. Mhm. I agree with that. Okay.
We'll certainly do that.
You know, it shouldn't be this way, but I agree. Yeah. So, are there any other questions or comments there? Okay. All right, thank you. Is there a tax collector report?
No, I was told it will be here next week.
Okay, thank you. All right, ordinances and zoning, do we have a representative? I'm sorry, I checked, I apologize to you, the engineer's report.
Good evening. Next week, there will be an item on the agenda for a resolution to adopt the county aid for this year, which is $9,171. That's just a formal request to the county to put this through. My understanding is that the plan is the funds to be used towards the road program. I am working with Mike and Public Works to prepare a list of roads with the plan to, I believe, at April, request approval to proceed with bidding for the road program for this year. The next item is 2 upcoming grant opportunities. I want to introduce them, recommend a project if there's some feedback as well. I would think more in April for resolutions, but bringing it to you ahead of time. The first one is DCNR. The second one is DCD. I'm not going to tell you the acronyms. I apologize off the top of my head, but they are both for parks, stormwater, open space. One of the items that has been on my list for a while is we've gone through a few phases at Community Park. We'll be starting the third one shortly. One of the last ones is a comfort station at Community Park. So both of those grants can match one another, looking for opportunities there. So that is an idea. If there's any others or any of them want to be discussed, please let me know. But that is a good program for those improvements.
I have a question.
Yes, Councilor.
So you said a comfort
station. So it would have bathrooms. It's a fancy way of saying bathrooms. I apologize.
Seeing I was thinking something else. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. We can get as fancy as far as they call it a comfort station mostly because it does have public utilities connected to it. But you can put a water fountain if you want. Some of them have concession stands. It can be as elaborate or as small. You have to realize the more you put in it, the more money it costs. However, that's something that I know there's so much activity at that park, and there's been, I know I've talked to Mr. Hunter quite a bit about the needs of that park, and that has come up. And with a lot of the I&I work that we've done, we believe that by the time that's implemented, we could have gained the credits to install a public bathroom at that time.
And I think overall it'll be saving money because we have to rent porta potties all the time for events at the park. So.
Yeah, not pleasant porta potty. May I ask a question, or you still have more to?
No, I was just going to answer the question about Church and Bailey, but
that's what I was going to ask. Okay,
perfect. So as far as Church and Bailey goes, we have been through 2 rounds of PennDOT reviews. We are to the fun part of property notifications and coordination, which is actually something I was going to talk to Mr. Nichols about after this, and getting in contact with some of the neighboring property owners. There is no permanent easements that we need. A lot of them are temporary construction easements. So hopefully for the improvement of the corner, everything will be willing, but we want to use proper channels to reach out to those residents and coordinate those signatures. And then we are also coordinating with the fire department for the emergency connections for the signal into the building.
Okay,
so yes, the plan is still to, at a minimum, go out to bid this year, put a contractor on hold. I will say, traffic signals, the poles to hold all the traffic signals take an ungodly amount of time to produce. But the goal is to still put it out to bid, get that process started, and then as soon as all the equipment is in place, obviously it will be a bit of a disruption, and we'll make sure that we're communicating when things get started and you're seeing any improvements to the corner.
Great. Are there any other questions for Ms. Megan?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Madam Vice Chair.
The question I have is for Church and McDade.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that there are still some concerns with respect to the parking in that area. And I did request that we meet, do an on-site inspection to make a final determination as to what is proper and not proper. So next week, am I correct?
Yes.
At
And-
9:00.
Yes, and just so you're aware, this was something the chief brought up months ago, probably in December, January. That was brought to our attention about the issues.
Right.
We have gone through the process of reviewing the areas. We agree that some of the parking, or some of the striping on the ground can be removed for the purpose of representing what is legal and not legal to park there. We have a quote in hand. Again, I'm going to blame the weather, unfortunately. You cannot eradicate or touch the ground when there's snow or striping if you can't see it. So pending our meeting next week, we'll make sure we have an understanding of exactly what the plan is. We'll make sure that's all marked out accordingly. And we'll, whether it's a motion at the meeting next week or an approval by you guys to proceed and approve that, it will not be a very large cost, but it will be some level of cost to remove the striping that's already there.
Well, if the striping was put there inappropriately, why would we be responsible for correcting it?
I'm not saying it was put in per PennDOT requirements and code. It's a borough preference as far as what striping you want removed for the purpose of representing. While I understand the need to remove it, it is still something that needs to be associated with the project and a cost with it.
So, if I could just kind of add to that. So is that a cost that we could get reimbursement from PennDOT?
I do not believe so. I can check on the balance of the grant to see if it can fall within the funding associated with that.
That we already have.
Yes, I can
Okay.
check on that. I do not know currently what is remaining for that project.
Okay.
So the issue is the striping, right? So you have striping in one part of the area, with the striping, you can park. In the other part, with the same striping, you cannot park there. So it doesn't make sense as far as from when you're trying to enforce
Well, it's not consistent,
right?
because it's the same striping.
So how can they made a decision to use striping that is standard for no parking, and you can get a ticket if you park there, and it's the same striping in another area, and they're being told that they can park there.
Okay. Well, this is all, we can take a look when we're in the field next week and make sure we understand exactly what.
But do you understand?
I understand, because at present, it is very confusing, particularly to a resident, because if you're saying, if I park at this end of the block, I'm okay. But then if I park at the other end of the block, it's not okay, and the striping
Are the same.
exactly the same. So there's no consistency. So that really needs to be looked into on what actually is supposed to happen. Is it no parking on either end, or yes, there is parking? And if that's the case, then that's where we're talking about that striping needs to be removed, changed, or whatever needs to happen, because it is very confusing. Very confusing. Mhm. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, my question also pertains to Church and McDade. I know we have to work out some of these kinks that we're discussing right now. Living there for 40 years, I know that it's been a great improvement. It's not a panacea. It's still a dangerous intersection, but it has improved. But how do we know? Does the state have any empirical way in which it captures the efficiency of their installation? Is there any way, empirical data that they could give us?
I don't know I know we default to crash data a lot from police reports. That's, a lot of times accidents and the type of accidents is where you have to qualify some of the improvements. And I know that's what we used at the start of the project. I mean, at this point, I think it might be worth it. Once we reach that 1 year or something, we can pull any of the crash data for that year and see the difference pre and post. Maybe we can do some, I'll have to see if we did any speed studies, because that's another tool that we use to see what the speeds are through that area. I'm not, again, that, like you said, it was quite a bit ago, but between the speed tables or the speed slots and the one-way, I'm sure we could do some post-construction speed studies as well.
I think that was done already. I'm sorry. I think that was done, a speed test.
Okay.
So you might have to.
I'll double check and see
Research
what,
it.
we did have to report everything to PennDOT, so we'll see if they have something on record as well about that.
Yeah, I know we could do speed tests, pre and post but I was just wondering if there's any other type of, since they installed it, it was very heavily engineered. Just like with the economy, for example, there's a CPI, there's a gross national product, there's the unemployment. There are different statistical indicators. So I was just wondering the gamut, if you could, let us know.
Yeah.
The one thing we could control, and we know that, but I'm just wondering if there are other empirical data that they capture.
Okay. I will check into that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, now it's time for ordinances and zoning. Madam Vice
I
Chair.
guess he's not here. No, I guess not.
He's not, Mr. Collins is not here. I don't know if Mr. Summers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Summers, please come on up.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I will be filling in for Mr. Collins tonight. He cannot make it. So for his report, he stated we have 88 violations issued, 72 of which of those violations are going to citations, are citations, 20 inspections, resale and rental inspections combined. Additional update, Washington Woods is due for inspection Wednesday and Thursday of next week. The carports are currently in abatement stage and have been issued abatements. The carports that are on 901 McDade and 1004 West Pouch Creek, they are now being abated. Seasonal reminders as spring approach, please remember the following property maintenance requirements. Grass height must not exceed 10 inches. We will be enforcing that once the vegetation start growing. Hedges and bushes must be trimmed and should not obstruct or interfere with sidewalks or walkways. Trash regulations, trash may only be placed out on a curb the evening before the scheduled trash day. It must be in approved containers with a lid and should not exceed the reasonable amount. Driveway maintenance. With improving weather conditions, residents will begin receiving notice regarding common driveway maintenance. Property owners are responsible for the maintenance of those areas. We ask that residents begin repairing and filling potholes where needed to ensure safe and proper upkeep. That concludes the code enforcement report.
Yeah, are there any questions for Mr. Summers? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. Public Works, you're up.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I have a few announcements on our e-waste drop-off, March 27th, between 8 and 2, and our yard waste drop-off has started. Will be March 13th, between 8 and 2. Street painting will be started within the next week or two, weather permitting. Grass cutting will start as soon as we see some more blooms in this weather changes for us. I'd like to answer the question about the gas issue that Ms. Johnson had reported. We had an incident of a car hitting a fence on Whippy and Church Lane, and it slightly missed a gas regulation chart box on the corner. Not many of us knew what this box was, including myself. We got some very valuable information on this. It is a chart regulation box that actually reads pressure in the system, and all it does is read pressure and send that information. It's not a dangerous situation for any of us. I spoke with Matt Ferris from Pico today twice, and he will, he's going to issue me an email for all of us to see on this regulation station for the safety of our residents. Mr. Summers talked about the 2 abatements for the carports. I will be abating them tomorrow. And Henry, I'm going to ask you for some assistance with the police department for this tomorrow. The Yeadon Swim Club, answer to that, we are 85% cleaned up on the swim club. 2 loads went out today of brush. Most of the topsoil has been removed. If we need tonnage figures, I can absolutely have them for anybody who needs them. And that is the end of my report. Any questions?
All right.
Madam
Are there any? Yes. Council.
I do have questions. With respect to the trash collection, we have been receiving a lot of complaints with respect to the lack of collection, trash collection, in addition to the collection of voluminous trash that we should not be collecting, right?
Correct.
So I need to know, what are we doing to ensure, right, that our tax dollars are being spent appropriately when our trash is being collected, and making sure that we're not taking commercial trash, right, and we're paying for it to be dumped. Our trash contract is very expensive. And this is a serious problem.
Correct.
So what are we doing to ensure, I know we're not going to be able to catch it all the time, but I would like for us to catch it most of the time.
I myself has been out on Wednesday and today checking on the trash to make sure there was nothing out of the ordinary. A public works employee will go out every day and a report will be sent back to management whether or not we see anything obsessive. And if there is something obsessive, photographs will be taken and we'll notify the trash company to absolutely not pick this up. And I will report it to code. Code will have to investigate, send a violation, and have them remove it properly. Because you're absolutely right. Trash is trash, and cleaning out the house is not trash.
Right.
It should be done properly. So yes, we're going to be on top of that. Absolutely.
Okay. And in addition to that, we want to just reiterate to the residents that if your trash is not collected on the day, barring anything going on and it's been suspended, and if your trash is not collected, notify the borough manager or just simply call the borough secretary or.
I receive those calls.
You receive those
on a
calls?
weekly basis, and we do check on that.
Because
on a weekly
it's
basis.
important.
Absolutely.
Because we have to keep a tally of that so it can reflect in their monthly payment.
That is correct.
So that's important that we receive those phone calls and we keep a record of same, and that will absolutely reflect in their payments, their monthly payments. So we need everybody to be involved with this.
And if I could just add to what Madam Vice President, and then the recycle as well. I just got a call this afternoon, 800 block of Cypress. Wednesday is their recycle day. Nobody picked it up. But to your point, Madam Vice President, I was in a meeting with management and with Public Works that is being done, and we're docking their payment every time that the trash is not collected. And if there's an issue, also, we've made it clear to them, in the event of a snow or some other occurrence, and particularly for the residents where they put their trash in the driveway, and, where we had instances where they can't come through the driveway, the truck, and they don't notify us that they can't do that, that's on them. we're not paying you, and because you need to take the time to notify us if there's any obstruction with you getting down there to pick up the trash. We need to know that. So I do know that those things are definitely going to be done.
I have a question.
Yeah, Councilor
In reference to
Jones-Waters.
the trash contract. When is that contract over?
I have to check on, because I can't tell you specifically right now, because I know we've been talking about that, and I can get back to you with that.
So I have gotten repeated requests from the constituents about having a 2-day trash pickup. I know we have it in the summertime, but a lot of residents would like to see it be year round. So I'm interested in looking at that contract and seeing, what's what can be done. See if we can get a 2-day week trash pickup.
All right. Mr. Mayor.
One of my pet peeves is for a long time, the 2-day a week trash pickup was historically Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then like 10 years ago, I would say someone dropped the ball, but made a mistake that it was going to be 4th of July. And then we never corrected it. And in Yeadon, it was always Memorial Day, the start of summer, to Labor Day. Somebody dropped the ball and thought it was supposed to be Labor Day, made a contract. Sorry, that it was 4th of July that it started, and we never corrected that. So we may not be able to do twice a week all year round, but I'd at least like to see it come back to, because you have more trash in the summer. You have picnics, you have a lot of outdoor activities and all that. I'd like to see it revert back to how it historically has been in this borough, where it was Memorial Day to Labor Day. So I would ask, borough leadership to look into that when we get the next contract.
And I would like to include that the surrounding boroughs, like Darby, for instance, they have it for 2 days, all year round.
All year round. Okay. This good point. I have one other question, Madam President, if I may. To Mike. Okay, you said the Yeadon Swim Club's about 85% cleaned up. Just want to query, was that had become a dump site, as it were? Was that the problem? People were dumping there?
Staging area.
What's that?
Staging area.
What do you mean by staging?
Well, when we have storms and we take down trees, there's no place for us to put it at our facility. That is our facility. We would put the trees there.
So Public Works put a lot of their refuse there. Okay.
Our contractors who did our sewer work along West Cobb Street Parkway from Lawyer Boulevard to McDade Boulevard. The dirt was moved around back and forth. It's a staging area is all it was, not a dump site whatsoever. Okay. And what we're moving out of there now is trees, brush, and leaves that there was no place to put. We can't put it at our facility. It's not large enough. So it's just a staging area, not a dump site.
So where will the new state, you're going to still be in need of a staging area, I suppose, right? So where's that going to be next?
Maybe we'll have to look at that into the future. I'm just going to have to figure out better ways to stage stuff in our facility. We do stage salt, we do stage trash, we have sand, we have blacktop, we have millings down there. We have a lot of things in bins that we keep for all year round emergencies. Maybe we need a bigger facility or more bins or something, but something to look into.
Now, did that impinge upon the tennis courts?
No, tennis, nothing that is down there impinges upon the tennis courts. The tennis courts were just extremely old and not safe to actually play tennis on at all. And to repair those tennis courts is almost impossible. They'd have to be ripped up and resurfaced, which is re-blacktopping and putting a new surface on top of it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Madam Vice Chair, then Councilor Francis.
As far as the staging area, I don't understand who would approve of that area being a staging area for any type of construction work or product, okay? It's right across the street from homes that people live in, right? It's adjacent to a tennis court. If the tennis court was up and running, people would be in there playing tennis, right? Next to a staging area with construction debris, insane. So
It's dirt and trees. It's not
it's
trash.
unsightly.
I understand.
Right?
I
It's
did not start
unsightly.
this practice.
In addition, right, and I'm not saying you did, but in addition, when we have debris, if trees fall, so forth and so on, we have to clean the trees up, and you put them in that Yeadon Swim Club. That's not a permanent home. That's just somewhere to put it, to get it out the way, and then we're supposed to dispose of it properly, right? So it seems like that wasn't happening.
Correct.
When people do their contracting work with the streets, digging up the streets, they were putting the dirt and everything they dumped in the Yeadon Swim Club. That was not for it to be a permanent home. And not only that, they had no business putting it in there, because I'm sure in every contract that we execute, right, we should have something in there that they would dispose of whatever needs to be disposed of, not to keep on Yeadon Borough property to serve as an eyesore, right? So that's why it's important for us to do what we're supposed to do. If we have product that we have to put there in an emergency, we have to dispose of it, not keep it there. So we should have a timeline, maybe 2 weeks, we'll dispose of it. If it's a matter of pricing, how much we have to pay the dump sites or whatever, I'm not familiar with it, then we just have to budget that in, because we just can't have debris sitting as an eyesore. It makes the community look trashy. So moving forward, I'm looking forward to that Yeadon Swim Club just being leveled out. If people are looking out their windows across the street from same, they won't see these mounds of dirt and brush and this and that. And we'll be okay. We'll be fine.
Thank you. Thank you. And Councilor Francis.
Mike, I agree fully with Vice President. With that area being like that, when you ride down there, it's nothing but dirt. Basically, that might be a good area that you do in the beginning, but it shouldn't be like that. And for other contractors to put their waste and dirt in there, do they do that at other communities? My thing is, if they finish, they should take their work with them, their dirt, whatever, with them. Okay, right now you're gonna be wasting a lot of man hours trying to go back over to clean up what could have been stopped. Yeah.
True. Now, I'm not removing any dirt. Contractors are removing their own dirt that were placed there. We're only taking care of what we did. We're paying for what we put there. Nothing else has been paid for by Yeadon Borough. Absolutely not. It was stored.
But we need to, 1 second, and then Councilor B, but we need to make sure that those contractors, whatever they left there, they come back and they remove it.
Like I say, 85% of it is gone.
Okay.
And the other percentages we're going to actually use for a lot of our facilities for holes in the park, in Borough Hall, the front lawn. There's a lot of places we could use. It's not just dirt, it's really good topsoil.
Okay.
So we're going to use a lot of it, and I'll move the rest of it out and store it at our yard.
Okay.
But nothing was paid for by Yeadon Borough to get rid of that dirt. Whatever left it there, they took it back out. And like I say, it's 85% of that's gone.
Okay, thank you,
All right, I'm going to be real quick because once that is clear and now we can actually see the Yeadon Swim Club, what was the remnants of that, we need to decide what we're going to do with that property. Because I'm like, we're clearing it to do exactly what?
Well,
I mean, exactly. So we have other organizations coming into Yeadon who want, like the presentation that you spoke about earlier. We need to make a decision what to do, because it's like prime real estate to do something over there. And that needs to be the conversation, colleagues, when they come do their presentation next week. when we have questions for this organization, whoever they, or even with Mr. Harmon's organization, we need to decide what needs to be done with that property because there has to be something put there. I mean, just why clear it out and it just continues to sit there vacant? Like, so we'll have that discussion next week, I'm sure.
And that is the purpose of having them come
Yeah.
to do the presentation, because they should put something that is going to be valuable to us at that location, rather than it just continuing to languish the way it is.
Brought up the Yeadon movie theater, old Yeadon movie theater, like, that's like, yeah.
Something's gonna be there, and it's been 30, 35 years, and hasn't happened.
So
This borough needs to make a decision.
That's right.
it's true. I agree with you. But thank you so much. Thank you.
welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, public safety.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
In February, the police department responded to 1,016 calls for service. We had 2 criminal arrests in the month. There were 2 non-traffic citations issued. There was 50 moving violations issued, and 376 parking tickets were issued. The reason why the parking tickets are low is because we suspended parking. The mayor suspended it for over a month. So that's why the parking tickets were low. As the solicitor said, next month or next week, we'll be asking for 2 resolutions for setting a fee for Act 22 and also for a traffic calming policy. Any questions?
Any questions for the chief?
And I want to thank everyone that came to the Mayor's Forum, community and the elected officials. It was great, and we truly appreciate it. The police department really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it was a nice article in the Daily Times.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, very nice.
Oh, and just so the mayor, I know he had it in his report, tomorrow is the prelim for Gerlach. So
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
tomorrow is the preliminary hearing for Gerlach. For
Oh, okay.
the
All right. Thank
Mount
you.
Moriah guy.
Yeah,
So
The bone thief.
It's up in Median.
Bone thief.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
And ironically, it's Friday the 13th now. So act any more irony to this thing, man.
Right. All right. Do we have a representative here from our fire department or emergency management? Oh, here we go. All right. Chief Summers.
So, good evening again.
Good evening.
So for the month of February, the fire company responded to 119 calls of emergencies, 2 of which being working structure fires in the borough. The first one being located at 544 Rose Street. And that was on February 8th. There was a fire from the 2nd floor bedroom. That fire was extinguished with no further incident. Was no injuries towards firefighters or residents of that property. The fire was investigated. It was determined from the fire marshal to be unintentional. The second working structure fire took place on February 28th, Sunday night around 11:30-ish. That was one of major fires for us. It was extensive damage to the home, fire on the first, second, and attic space. There was a victim removed from that property. She was transported to Penn Presbyterian Hospital in critical condition. As of last Tuesday, she did undergo surgery for, I don't know the details, but I would assume it's probably more so for a skin graft. I did hear from the daughter. She is still in critical condition at this point. And that's all I have to report for that. It was investigated by our local fire marshal, CID, and the state fire marshal's office. We do have our fire marshal here present, and he will also have a report to give.
Oh, great, great. And if I could ask a question, one of the things that I'd reached out to you with the fires to see if was there any correlation to like portable heaters that could possibly have caused, because people are struggling to pay, the utility bills.
Yes, my mistake for not replying back to you, but none of those fires were related to illegal electric hookups or people trying to, stay warm.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then the last, this is really a comment, is I shared with you, because do you still have any of the smoke detectors available? And if you could bring them with you when you come to council, and that may be helpful to then give them out to more residents.
Believe it or not, as of that fire that happened on February 28th, we have had a lot of residents coming up for
Oh,
fire and
that's
smoke
good.
detector, so we are all out now.
Okay.
Waiting from the Red Cross to receive some more.
Okay, and then my last comment is, because we had this conversation, was in reference to the CO detectors, and maybe it might be good to do a session that really talks about that, and then how to properly install them, because we had that conversation about the property that you went out to, and that's what the issue was. Yeah. So I think that would
Yes,
be-
next month meeting, I will draft something up to talk more in detail about carbon dioxide issues and emergencies.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And our fire marshal, please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll just, what Chief Summer said, we did have 2 fires last month. I can't speak on the second one too much, but both seem to be more unintentional or neglect. Pretty much every fire we had last year either came back to smoking issues or what we believe to be smoking issues, people discarding cigarettes improperly. We've had several fires in the borough this past year that had something to do with candles. One was because they didn't have power in the residence. Another one was just they had candles burning in a place they didn't belong and they left them unattended. So a lot of the issues we have are basic housekeeping things and things that we talk about every year, fire prevention. So just a reminder to the residents to not leave things burning, unattended, not around small children. Don't overload your outlets, things of that nature. But we haven't had a lot of those issues. There's been a lot of smoking and candles and things that are preventable from adults that are not preventing them. The resident that Chief Summer spoke about is still in critical condition. I talked to the daughter this morning. She's got no real updates on that, but the rest of that investigation was turned over to the county criminal investigation department and PSP by state law because there's an injury they have to take over. So I know Mr. Nichols stepped out, but I believe he talked to council. I'll be taking over emergency management, so I'll have more on that next month. There will have to be, I talked to the county, there will have to be a resolution made on that if it hasn't already been done. And then some paperwork filed with the state. So I'll talk to him and follow up on that this week. And then I've already planned some meetings and stuff with the hospital and some things like that try and get some things worked out. So.
Well, thank you for stepping up to that role, but I just also want to say, and then Mr. Mayor, you could, is to both of you and our fire department, I appreciate, again, just like our police, you care about people and you have compassion. And I've heard that from residents and the one that had the CO issue at that home, they just talked about how quickly you responded, how you stepped in, did exactly, and really just going above and beyond to make sure that they understand and that they were safe. And the fact to hear that you're still checking on that resident that's in the hospital, that speaks a lot. And I thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. And Mr. Mayor and then Councilor Jones Waters.
Yeah, can we have the council?
Sure, Councilor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quick question. Is the emergency management position vacant?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I believe the police chief was filling in.
He was filling both roles.
The last year, but we had that discussion early last year that he's got police chief things to do. So,
Yeah, so I just want to make a comment or to follow up. Vince, right? Vince Zappacosta?
Yep.
So Vince, and congratulations on being our fire marshal. I would like you and the fire chief to be at our public safety meetings each month at 9:30, usually the last Saturday of each month. So we need you there.
Yep.
Okay. Secondly, just an update. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of deaths or serious injuries from fires. This is the first I can recall of someone being in critical condition. The chief said that the state took it over. Is that
Yeah, so in accordance with law in Pennsylvania, the lead fire investigators in the state of Pennsylvania come from Pennsylvania State Police. So anytime there's an injury, suspicious activity, anything of that nature, we deem it to be criminal. They have to be involved.
Okay.
Especially with municipal fire investigators, we don't have arrest powers or things of that nature. So when it becomes a criminal act or something like that, the police and the state police will, usually take it over. But anytime there's an injury, they have to be notified. So they were notified before we even got there the other day and came out and took over the investigation. We still work closely together, but ultimately it's their investigation. So.
And you guys had a very good annual banquet this year, last month. That was really great.
Madam Chair.
So, one other thing. So, Chief, forgot my thought now. Oh, yeah. So on the second, I just wanted everybody to know that one of the police cruisers was rear-ended during the second snowstorm. So we do have an injury to an officer who's currently out. So just wanted you to know that. So these jobs are not run-of-the-mill. They are dangerous, and they hazard their lives in many different ways. So I just wanted council and the public to know that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
I have a question. With respect to the emergency management, is there anything that council should be doing in the meantime as far as online classes? I believe it had something to do with like the NIMS.
Yeah, so I can't speak for the exact class off the top of my head. There is a class that all council members are required to take. I will gather the information the next time it's hosted. Usually the county hosts it this time of year, like once or twice a quarter. With the newly elected people coming in every year, they usually host it and blast that information out. I will find out those dates when they're available, if they're available, or if they have the online version. A lot of things did move to online, but I know sometimes they don't move certain ones on purpose. But yes, every council member should be participating in that when it becomes available. And that was specifically guided to focus on elected officials, so you don't have to take the other basic courses. So it's, my understanding is that's the only thing you're supposed to be taking. If you wanted to take the other courses, they are available online. The basics are 100, 200, which will give you a good understanding. But as I get into it more and see what previous emergency management has set up, I know that Rufus did a pretty good job with having everything organized. So I have to take a look a little bit further, talk to Chief about what's happened last year or two, and sit down and I'll bring what I can to council, what I need from you guys to help. I already talked to Mr. Nichols about, finding out what the actual budget is, because there is a budget line item for emergency management, so we can get some equipment that maybe has been neglected, and moving forward with that.
So if you don't mind, could you send Mr. Nichols an email, just advising what classes council is mandatory to take, right? And when you find out, where we can take it, if we can take it online, so forth and so on, then we can just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'll absolutely get the dates that are available for this year.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Oh, I'm sorry.
So I have a question. I was in the bathroom, for the chief, mayor too. Well, not a question, but a concern, from a couple of constituents, concerning more police cars, at the schools when the kids are getting out, because, the cars be driving fast and all that kind of stuff. So actually a complaint for Evans as well as Bell. So if it's more police presence over there.
Yeah, I'll try to deploy. I mean, as the mayor said, we have one out now, so that completes the squad, getting people on board, and try to outfit the school as much as possible.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. We have a representative from the library would like to come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We actually have a lot of activities going on this month at the library, so there is a printout at the front that you guys can pick up and take with you. I'd like to start by thanking the library and the friends. I'd like to thank everyone who participated in our annual Black History Month program. It was a very successful event. Dr. Daisy Century, who was originally scheduled for Black History Month, but had to cancel because of snow, will be there on Monday, March the 16th at 6:30, and she will be portraying Harriet Tubman. And our annual Women's History Month program is Tuesday, March 31st at 6 o'clock. We invite you to go out.
Great, thank you, thank you. And I said thank you for the other events that took place last month. They were, I enjoyed them all. Thank you, thank you.
What was the time for one next event?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
6, okay, thank
I'm
you.
sorry, 6:30.
6:30, okay, thank you. And it's posted on the website, correct? Great, thank you. All right, recreation.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I just want to apologize to the committee for changing the dates. I had the reminder sent out, but I didn't explain why the date was changing. I had a work event to attend. But in the future, we're not changing it to the second Tuesday of the month, so we don't have to have any conflicts with other committees. So I do apologize. I should have communicated that better to you all. So the next meeting will be April the 7th, which is our normal first Tuesday of the month. We did meet, though, this Tuesday, and we had some representatives from the Nile Swim Club Board, because we are in the process of possibly having discussions about partnering with them to do a Juneteenth event this summer, in addition to Flag Day. So more information regarding both of those events will come forward as I get more information from the NAL, and we have more discussion about that. So once again, our next Recreation Committee meeting will be on the first Tuesday of April, and you all will get the reminder sent the week before. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have, excuse me, I have a number of dates that I want to give to you. Tuesday, March the 24th, there will be a community seed swap at the library from 5 to 7. Our garden is getting ready to start at Community Park in spite of all the bad weather. We've been told that with all the rain and the snow, we'll have tremendous vegetables and grass. So the seed swap will take place on the 24th at the library. And if you have any seeds that you want to bring to swap, please put them in a plastic bag and we'll work through them. There's going to be a tree planting workshop on Tuesday, March the 31st at Glen Olden Park. Any residents or council members who want to come out and dig some holes and plant some trees, I'll be there, so you're welcome. But that'll be held at Glen Olden Park on Tuesday the 31st from 8 a.m. To 11 a.m. And there will be refreshments provided. We also have a virtual rain garden course that you can take. Last Saturday, a few residents and myself were over in Haverford, and we had a rain garden workshop. But now they're going to have a virtual rain garden course that you can actually take for free. There's a barcode on it. The dates are the 22nd and the 29th of April, and the May 6th and 13th from 7 to 8. So any residents, council members, public officials who want to know about rain gardens, they can take the course, and it's free. So that's coming up. We're also going to have a pollinator workshop here at Borough Hall on the 5th of May from 6:30 to 8. Free plants, shrubs will be given out, and it'll probably really fill up fast. So I'll get the information out on the website as soon as possible. Don't forget the rain barrel workshop. The flyers out. I think it's on the website, but if it's not, we'll get it up. That's the 19th of May, and that'll be here at Borough Hall. So we're getting a lot of things coming through Yeadon, which is what we wanted to do anyway. From what I understand, the rain barrel workshop is pretty much, it's not full, but if it is, please keep on registering because some people don't show up because it's free. So we'll probably have some extra rain barrels to give out. We also have something new called downspout planters, where you can catch the water off your roof, and we have a tub that you can set up, and then you can actually plant in the tub. So that's in addition to the rain barrels, you can also do that. So we're probably going to have a couple of workshops to introduce the downspout planters. Yeah, I've got a workshop for that.
Excuse me, you
You
need a workshop for that?
somewhere, right? So we're working on, of course, our 6-year for our vegetable giveaway. That's coming up sometime in July. We just want to make sure we get all the weeks in. I think we went 18 weeks last year, so we're going to try to get a couple of more weeks in if we can start it a little earlier. Also, on the 18th of April, the third annual Rap Curry Invitational Track Meet will be held in Yeadon. We already have 50 schools signed up from Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and a couple schools from New York State. So our track meet is starting to take place and starting to become a real attraction, not only for Yeadon, but for the school district. Also, too. What's the date on that? That's the 18th of April, the week before the pin relays. That's why we're getting a lot of schools. So that's, we've really done a good job with that track meet. A lot of schools, a lot of people, and we invite a lot of the parents and a lot of the residents to come out for that meeting. The kids love it when you have more people around. It's a good, safe meet. Chief always involved, and we don't have any trouble. Track meet's a little different from football games. Usually you get, most of the people there are people competing in the meet. So it's a good situation. So I'll get all this information on the website.
Excellent.
We're gonna load it up, and then as you see things, just join in.
Excellent. So I just have 2 questions if I could. So with all of the courses that you mentioned pertaining to gardening, are there flyers out there, or are you just going to post
Yeah, there are flyers out there for the rain barrel workshop. We're getting flyers out for the pollinator workshop. We're waiting for that flyer to come in. And the virtual one is out there in the hall also.
Excellent.
So that would be a good one to sign up for, because you can kind of space it out a little bit, and you can do it from your home.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful because I've learned gardening is excellent therapy. So I'm thankful for all of this training and everything that you're doing. And then the other question that I had for Councilor Beatty, so with your meetings, so are they all in Zoom, or will some of them be in person?
They will be in Zoom, on Zoom.
No.
They will all be on Zoom.
Okay, would you consider holding some of them in person?
No, they're on Zoom. I work during the day, so unfortunately, a lot of times I have to do it from my office at 7:00 because I'm still at work. So no, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. So unless I'm off that day, but more than likely we will be on Zoom. It's on Zoom. So real quick, I just want to, because I need to thank you, Roy, for working so hard, first of all, and always being so helpful, and also donating all of those tickets to the flower show this year to residents. That was just such a nice thing to do on behalf of the Recreation Department. So thank you so much for that.
No problem. That's because I'm limping now from the beating I took getting there. But we'll try to get a few more. I think now that we know it's coming and I have a source, we'll try to get a few more.
Thank you.
For those who went to the flower show, I heard it was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And the Recreation Department, thanks for donating. Mr. Hunter, before you leave, so with this here track meet, are you still involved as a coach, or are you just a booster now, or? With the track meets? Your involvement with the track meet?
Yeah, well, I've been there. My son was on the track team, so I volunteered.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do it for a little bit, and now 17 years later, I'm still doing it. But it's a good situation.
I love
We have
track.
a lot of kids that we send to college.
Wow.
We're off to New York on tomorrow. The Nationals are held in New York City, Nike Nationals, at the Armory. And
I ran at the Armory.
and we have 3 students from Yeadon for the track team. And our team did very well at the state meet. We scored in 3 events. brought home 9 medals. And, it's a good situation. We're getting more and more young ladies involved in the
Nice,
program.
nice.
And we're looking to get track scholarships and, it's
Doing a nice job.
athletic
Yeah.
and scholastic scholarships that we're giving to the kids. So it's a good situation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just, I got a birthday coming up soon. I gotta keep moving. So, that's why I do it. I was gonna quit, wow.
I just want to underscore that because Mr. Hunter does a real nice job.
Yes,
He's
he does.
an unsung hero in this borough.
Yeah. All right.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
before you close out, because I forgot to announce when the Public Works and Code Committee meetings are. They are the second Tuesday of each month, beginning at 6 p.m. on the second floor. So the next one will take place April 14th, 6 p.m.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. All right, and starting next month, you'll be reports from the Planning Commission, and then it will be Community Affairs starting next month. All right. So if all hearts and minds are clear, may I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.